Hey guys, it's Appleminte. Welcome back again to my channel. So if you guys have been with me for a while now, you'll know that 3 years ago I did a video similar to the topic of today's video where I compared Crayola markers against Copic markers, which are one of, if not the most expensive alcohol marker on the market, and also happen to be my personal medium of choice whenever I create traditional artwork. But that video that I did a few years ago is pretty outdated, and I want to make an updated version with some new techniques to put Crayola to the ultimate test against Copics. So the way we do this around here is I take one piece of art that I have created ahead of time and I have printed it out onto marker paper twice. So we're gonna start with the Copics and then get right into seeing how the Crayola markers can stand up to it. Now the way I've determined the pricing for the markers in this video is I have gone by the current price you can find online now. Currently on Amazon it is roughly $200 for a Copic Chow 72 set. So that is the price I am going by. And for a set of Crayola markers it only costs 97 cents online or at Target. Pretty good deal for a set of markers. So I purchased 2 different kinds. And I'm gonna be introducing rubbing alcohol into this. Now my goal with this is to see if I can turn the Crayolas into something more like an alcohol marker, basically enhancing the $1 markers, seeing if we can get the most out of them with just a common household item. I'm gonna stop rambling now and let's just get right into the first drawing, which will be colored in with Copics. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be using Copics to color this first one, and for the line art I'm using a drawing of my character Doe that I did through Procreate. I actually colored this in digitally on my Instagram page where you can go see it, but I really liked this piece and I wanted to see what it would look like colored in with traditional media. If you've been with me for a while, you'll know that this is one of my OCs that I've drawn a few times, but don't draw her as much as I would like to on my channel, so I really wanted to incorporate her in today's video. So my favorite thing about using Copic markers is the fact that they have such a wide selection of colors. I believe they have about 358 different Copic colors right now. I don't know if they have more, but as far as I know, there's 358, which is a huge selection, if not, I think the biggest selection any marker brand has in terms of different colors. And the next thing about that is if you have enough shades of a specific color, you can get such nice blends because Copics really do blend the best. I've tested different markers on my channel in the past, and of all of the markers I've tried out, other than Copic, Ohuhu was my favorite. It was the closest to Copic markers and a fraction of the cost, but Copics are always going to be my go-to, mostly because of the fact that they are refillable, which is something that not a lot of marker brands offer. I don't believe Ohuhu offers that, maybe not yet, maybe they will, but at the present moment Copic does, and I think there might be a few other brands that do, but overall not many brands have replaceable ink or nibs within their markers. It's just kind of a one and done. But that said, that does depend on the brand that you buy and the price point you buy it at. So if you buy a set of, $200 markers like Copics and then you can't refill any of them and they run out, then you're kind of screwed. You have to buy a whole nother $200 set. Whereas if you bought a set of Ohuhus for $40 and they ran out and you were fine spending another $40, if you spent $40 5 times, that brings you up to the $200 mark that Copic got you up to. So it's kind of like you got 5 refills out of them. But the purpose of this video and videos like this isn't to show you that you need to have the best of the best in order to create nice artwork. If anything, I believe quite the opposite. I believe that you can use basically anything to create art, and it mostly depends on your skill level, which will determine the quality of your artwork. And the art supplies are just a means to help you along. If you have the skill and you want to use better supplies, that will definitely help you, but better supplies won't make the artist. They won't make you better at art. If you have the skill level and you know how to use them, then fine, that's great. But supplies do not make the artist. Artists make the supplies. That is why I'm really excited to test out how the Crayolas will hold up against these, because my goal is to get it looking as close to this image as I can, which is why I'm putting a lot of effort into all the shading and colors and everything. I want it to be something that I can replicate, but something that's also detailed enough. And I don't know how that's gonna go with Crayolas. In the past, I never practiced using any rubbing alcohol, mixing in with the marker ink to see if I could get something close to Copic. So I'm looking forward to that. I have an okay feeling about it, I'm not sure. Obviously, I don't have some of these lighter colors in Crayola, like her skin tone. I think it only comes with one brown. We're gonna have to see about that. But now that the Copic illustration is done, I'm ready to move on to the Crayola one. So let's get right into that. Let's see if we can get Crayola markers comparing to these expensive $200 markers. Real quick, before we get into that, I just want to showcase this month's winners for my Discord art contest. Here are our first, second, and third place winners. Every month we do an art competition, so if you are interested in joining, you have to be 13 plus to join the server. The link is in the description below. Thank you guys all who entered the contest, and congratulations to our 3 winners. And with that said, now on to the Crayola markers. So you might remember from last week's video, I picked up some Crayola markers for my video where I tested out different school supplies and used them to create a full piece of artwork. So here I have the classic set, the bright set, and the fine liners, which I don't think I'm gonna need the fine liners. I think I'm just gonna stick with these 2 bigger ones. But each of these 2 big sets cost me 97 cents at Target, so pretty cheap, pretty good deal. You can't really go wrong with $10 for 97 cents. That comes out to about 10 cents a marker, which compared to the about $3.50 price tag on a Copic Chow marker, that's pretty good. Although with that set, I think they come down to about $2.60 a marker, $2.70 a marker, but still 10 cents versus $2.70 marker. Anyway, my process for this is I'm gonna be using a watercolor palette that I have. And I'm gonna put down the marker first and then add in rubbing alcohol slowly. I don't wanna overdo it because I don't want it to become like a soup, but I also don't want it to be too dry. I want it to be liquidy enough that I can paint it on with a paintbrush. So that is the goal here. Rubbing alcohol was just laying around my house, but if you need to purchase it, it's pretty inexpensive. And again, the paintbrush was also just something I had laying around. So my goal with this is to get a wash of marker that looks similar to the shade of the skin color that I used in the Copic illustration. Obviously here we only have that one brown, which you can see I used on the antlers and the ears, and it's pretty dark. So if I had used that for her skin, I wouldn't have been able to do any shading. It obviously wouldn't have been the right color because she's got more of a tannish brown color because she's a deer. So far it was working out. I was using marker paper, not watercolor paper. So after adding a few layers of this, it did start to buckle certain parts of the paper, and maybe that was, my mistake for adding a little too much rubbing alcohol. Maybe I could have been a little lighter handed on that. But overall, I actually don't think it looks bad. Of course, it's a little patchy in some areas, and I will go over that again with the paintbrush later to kind of fix that up a little bit as best as I can. But overall, I really am kind of pleasantly surprised. I wasn't sure how this was gonna go because I've never tried this before, and I've never really watched videos of people doing it. So this was all one big experiment for me. But as you could see, I was having fun with the colors on the side, trying to make different shades that I needed. So for the brown areas that I needed to shade in, I did mix a little bit of the black marker in there to darken the brown, just so I could get a little bit of a darker brown rather than what I was using, and it worked pretty well. Yeah, pleasantly surprised about this. I really didn't expect it to work this well, at least. So then I made the hair color and I mixed some yellow, orange, and brown, and I added a bit more rubbing alcohol in here to lighten it a bit more. And yeah, came pretty close to her original hair color that I did in Copic. It's like a blondish, beigeish color. And I gotta say, these $1 markers kind of are turning into something that looks like Copic. Now, obviously it is not exactly the same, but I will say if you want to get the most out of your Crayola markers and you don't have the biggest budget and you want to try to get something looking like an alcohol-based marker, this is something you should try out. I would not knock it before you try it, because I'm able to get some really nice lighter marker washes on here, and it is just marker ink mixed with alcohol, which really is what an alcohol marker is. Of course, it's a little wetter because, again, I had to add some extra and then paint it on with a brush, but overall, it's about the same thing, at least the way it looks. And aside from the paper buckling a bit and it being a little splotchy in some areas, I think that's just my error. Overall, not bad at all. And then I went ahead and just went with the red and colored it straight on there. Didn't need a wash for that because it was already vibrant enough. It matched the red I used for the other drawing. And then I just added the green background. So yeah, there you have it. There is my experiment, kind of trying to turn these $1 Crayola markers into alcohol-based markers. I think you should definitely try this if you haven't already. With any water-based markers that you have, not just Crayola, but any water-based marker that doesn't necessarily blend too well, or you have something that's too dark and you want to lighten it, adding some rubbing alcohol will definitely help with that. So overall, I'm very happy with this experiment. Let me know which one you think looks better in the comments below, or if it gave the same kind of look, if it's close, let me know what you think. So as always, I have all of my links in the description box below. I have the link to my online shop, the link to my Discord server, my Patreon pin club, everything is there, my Instagram, so go check that out. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. I hope you had fun with me. This was a lot of fun for me to try out. And again, let me know what you think in the comments below. So I will see you all next Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time as always, and I hope you have a beautiful, happy, and safe weekend. Bye-bye.